Today's November 16th, 2022. And for this episode, I would like to discuss with you the question of whether or not to close Rikers Island. The City Council and the politicians have already decided that Rikers Island will be closed. And it will be replaced by borough facilities in 4 of the 5 boroughs. Now, when they made this decision, they told New Yorkers that the reason for this was because Rikers is inhumane, there was brutality, and the conditions there were not good. Now, I agree that we should have good living conditions, and everybody should be safe in the jails. But that's what was told to the people to get them to support the decision to close Rikers. If you recall, way back in 2014, during Bill de Blasio's campaign, for his first campaign for mayor, he was saying that Rikers should be closed. He was saying Rikers was bad and Rikers was inhumane. And every decision he made in his 8 years as mayor was against Rikers Island. He abandoned the department, he abandoned correction officers, and he abandoned the inmates and their families. Nothing de Blasio did for the correction department was effective. Everything he did was counterproductive to safety. The only reason why he was talking that way about Rikers Island and the department was because he wanted to close it. Now, did he have other interests in mind? I don't know. But his rhetoric became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because in 2014, at the time he became mayor, Rikers Island was still manageable and the jails were still under control. But every year after that, they got worse. But the mayor and other politicians used that rhetoric to get some support from the community members, which is ironic because now community members are against the city building borough jails in their communities. But that was the position they took to close Rikers and build borough jails. And they said borough jails were better. They said that the inmates' lawyers would have a better ability to get in and out of the jails. They said the visits would be streamlined and would be much better. That's what they said. But I'll tell you what I think it is. And this is nothing new. It's been said before. They want to close Rikers Island because they want the land. It's a land grab. They want the land to use for whatever they deem fit. There's talk of them using the land for some recycling type infrastructure. There's talk that LaGuardia Airport, in order for LaGuardia Airport to handle flights from overseas, they would have to extend their runway. So is that another reason why they want Rikers Island? Because I don't believe the reasons they want to close Rikers Island are the reasons that they told the public. Okay, so nobody ever accused politicians of being honest. So they want the land on Rikers and they want to replace it with borough jails. So let me ask this then. There is a barge in the Bronx. It's called the Vernon C. Bain Center. And it's right near Hunts Point. If they claim that borough jails are better than Rikers Island, and they want to close Rikers and have borough jails, then why do they want to close the Barge in the Bronx? Because that's what they want to do. And they've been wanting to do that for a long time. But it's still open right now, but they want to close it. So why do they want to close the Barge and then build another jail in the Bronx, 3, 4, 5 miles away, whatever it is? Because they also want that land. Not only do they want Rikers Island as a land grab, but they want the land where the Barge is as a land grab. That area there is right on the water in the Bronx, and it has a huge parking lot that handles, I don't know how many hundreds of cars. They want to make that area just like the Bronx, South Street Seaport, They want the area where the VCBC Barge is to be like the South Street Seaport. And that would clearly bring in a lot of finances for the city. but that's what they want to do. So in effect, what are they doing? They want to close RIKERS because they want the land, and they want to close VCBC because they want that land to replace it with something else that's going to be more productive fiscally for the city. And of course, not only for the city, but for real estate developers and whoever else gets involved in building on RIKERS or whatever they plan to do with it. I submit to you that this is just another example of gentrification in this city. That's exactly what happened in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. They pushed out people that had affordable housing. They pushed out working people. They pushed out some low-income people. And now they've filled it with the yuppie executives that live in Williamsburg. They did the same thing to Long Island City. Pushed out ordinary people and brought in big business and brought in people with higher incomes 2 minutes away from Manhattan. If you live in Long Island City, you can walk to Midtown Manhattan, literally a mile and a half over the 59th Street Bridge. And if you take the train, it'll take you a 2-minute train ride to get to Manhattan. Similarly in Williamsburg, very close to Manhattan. Also, downtown Brooklyn, same thing, gentrified. Parts of Harlem, gentrified. This is what's happening to the jails. They are gentrifying the jails because they want the land for the same reason they want Williamsburg, they wanted Harlem, they wanted Long Island City, and they wanted downtown Brooklyn. The same reason. But now, if they told you that from the very beginning, would they have gotten the support they got from New Yorkers? No. So they had to tell you that the place was brutal. They had to tell you it was inhumane. They had to tell you that this would be helping the inmate families and helping the inmate attorneys. They had to tell you it would reduce transportation time going to and from court. So they got public support for it. Now, do they have that public support when they want to build in the boroughs? No. This Manhattan jail is being built where it originally was, in downtown Manhattan. But I can tell you, you're not going to see a jail in Manhattan on 5th Avenue and 71st Street. The Brooklyn jail, it's going to be built on the place where it already was, in downtown Brooklyn. The Bronx jail, you're not going to see that in the best part of the Bronx. So the community doesn't want these high-rise jails being built there. And the last point I want to make is this. Queens Jail, Queens House of Detention, it closed in 2003. Now, when de Blasio became mayor in 2014, he said borough jails were the way to go. Shut down RIKERS and create borough jails. Why didn't he open the Queens House in 2014 until he left in 2021? No, he left it closed. So if the borough jails are better than RIKERS, why was Queens House not open for the 8 years de Blasio was mayor? And as I mentioned earlier, if borough jails are better than RIKERS, why are they closing the VCBC Barge this year or next year? It's very simple. I submit to you they want the land. They want Rikers Island for either recycling infrastructure or real estate development or to extend LaGuardia Airport. And who knows, maybe 10, 20 years from now, they may even have a casino on Rikers Island. They want that land. And the same thing with the Barge in the Bronx. Well, listen, if you liked this video and you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe and hit the like button. I want to hear your comments. When I taught as a professor at John Jay College, my priority was to provoke thought and to get feedback from my students. So please, whether you agree or disagree, send me a comment, and I'd like to hear what you think.